Hi again. I am here to present the Hausman Humanitarian Award to my friend John Kemp. John is one of America's most premier advocates for people with disabilities, a lawyer, an author. John, in 1992, was awarded the Horatio Alger Association Award for Distinguished Americans. He got their highest honor. It's awarded to those who have succeeded in spite of adversity and emphasizes the importance of higher education. In 1992, John was the first person with a disability to lead a major national organization when he was named CEO of United Cerebral Palsy Associations, whose chair was Jack Hausman. He also co-founded the American Association for People with Disabilities, which today is the premier advocacy association for people in the United States. And the late Judy Heumann was also one of their leading voices. John now heads the Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama, which is dedicated to the promotion of health, wealth, and physical fitness and a healthy lifestyle for individuals with disabilities. Now, you know, to take that job, he decided he wanted to be healthy himself, so he took a ride up into space. Any else know that? He has also led the Viscardi Center right here on Long Island, which is one of the pioneering programs for education, employment, and empowerment for children and adults with disabilities. And we are so pleased that so many of his friends, volunteers, and board members are here tonight to celebrate with him. Their founder, the late Hank Viscardi, was also an advisor to and friend of the Hausman family and got them going in a lot of ways that we now continue to do in education and employment and empowerment. This John Kemp, he got game, folks. One of the chapters of his book, Disability Friendly, or How to Move from Clueless to Inclusion, which everyone here has been given a copy of tonight, and is an easy yet must read for everyone, but especially for you guys, men and women in business. One of the chapters is how to get to equal by erasing fear. And that's what I've seen him do throughout his life. I've seen children come up to him just curious about the pincers that he uses for fingers. And sometimes parents will recoil. And John will say no. And he shows them how he used them to do the very things that they do. Makes everyone comfortable, unafraid, and want to be around them. So I'm going to give you one vignette. No, not that one, John. John and a colleague by the name of Kay Hollings was working for the national organization at the time. We're making a trip to Los Angeles. Anybody been to LAX knows what a zoo it is. And at this particular time, I believe the Pope was in town. There was going to be a cavalcade and all of this stuff. So they were trying to get downtown quickly. And so they get to the bus that was taking them downtown. People pack their luggage, and he packs his luggage in his scooter, and he gets to, hump himself up on the bus, as he can do. Now, you got to picture this, folks. Everyone's on the bus, because he's going to sit in the front seat. And he's down in the well, because nobody can see him. And all of a sudden, one of the cables that holds together his prosthetic knee breaks. So all people can hear him say is, "Damn, Kay, I just broke my leg." You're allowed to laugh at this. So people, two reactions people have. One is they're horrified, and the other one, they're looking at their watch thinking like, "Oh man, we'll never get downtown." But that turns to absolute shock when Kay turns around and says, "Well, damn, John, there's nothing we can do about it now. Just get up here and we'll get it fixed when you get downtown." So now we're there in horror. So John gets himself up, turns around to the crowd, and shrugs his shoulders. And what they knew at that time, this wasn't a guy who needed pity. This wasn't a guy who needed anything else. And this was a guy having a hell of a time getting to work just like them. And from that moment on, as Kay told me, pretty much everybody on that bus would look at someone with a disability differently. That's his charisma, that's his style, and therefore ADAPT Community Network is proud and honored. And I am absolutely privileged to present the Hausman Humanitarian Award to my friend, my colleague, a man I truly admire and love, John D. Kemp.
And you haven't even heard what I'm going to say yet. Eddie, I love you. And tonight won't be complete until you sing "Oh Danny Boy." Right? It may be 2 o'clock in the morning by himself, but this is the night that, Eddie, I say thank you and I love you as well. I'm overwhelmed to get the Hausman Humanitarian Award. When I became the CEO of United Cerebral Palsy Associations, Jack Hausman wanted me to come up every month, meet him at the Peacock Alley at Waldorf Astoria. I would fly in the night before. I would get there at 9 o'clock as he told me to. He was there. He had already eaten, finished reading. He was putting the Wall Street Journal away. So I said, well, I got to get there before he is. So I would get there at 8:30 the next month. Then it was 8 o'clock. He was already finished. He was still reading the paper. I never beat Jack Hausman to the table, ever. I never saw a check either. And then I'd give him the briefing. He'd say, thank you, out. A lickety-split. Most beautiful blue eyes. And I'd have to tell him, here's how the organization is going. This is what we're doing. He'd say, good, not so good, you could do better. Let's get going. Fascinating human being. What he and Leonard Goldenson, and now the generations of Hausmans and Goldensons have built is just incredible. Where would we, people with disabilities, be if Jack and Leonard and all the Hausmans and Goldensons had not thought about and dreamed up and created and funded United Cerebral Palsy and now ADAPT Community Network? Our lives would be in trouble. I just got to introduce a couple people because they mean everything to me. My wife, Sam. She's just the epitome of a humanitarian. She is a loving, beautiful soul. Her sister, Ricky, is with us tonight, and her husband, Scott, and it happens to be Ricky's birthday, so happy birthday, Ricky. My Georgetown classmate, John Tennant, and his wife, Lois, and their friend, Ellen Quinn, are here. Welcome and thank you for being here. And Ann Beaumont, my first assistant when I took the CEO job at United Cerebral Palsy Associations. She was fresh out of Berkeley. It was her first job. Today, she is a litigation attorney in New York City handling complex legal transactions, financial transactions. Ann, thank you for being here. Cheryl Bushell and Kevin Bushell. Cheryl was my CFO and EVP at the Viscardi Center. And there's a whole table of beautiful people from the Viscardi Center here tonight. Thank you for being here. Dr. Chris Rosa succeeded me. And now my Lakeshore family, my goodness sakes. Kathy Miller, Jen Allred, Amy Raworth from Birmingham came up for this award, so thank you for being here as well. I was going to tell Willie Geist that I go to bed with my wife, but I wake up with Willie. I don't know. My wife's still there. Willie's in the room, all right, so. And Allie Stroker. When I was at Viscardi, we had Allie do a Reach for a Star luncheon in virtual format, and she was brilliant. But when I heard tonight that she is going to play my friend Judy Human's role in a movie by Apple Plus, it took my breath away. There is no better person in this world that could play that role than Allie Stroker. This is so fortunate. Yesterday, my wife and I went to the service in Washington, D.C. for Judy Human. Humanitarian, that was the epitome right there. Synagogue overflowing. Every available room was filled. This nation mourns the loss of Judy Human. She was an incredible spirit. What she contributed to all of us with disabilities and all of you without disabilities, some of you maybe, enriched our lives forever. She's just amazing. Susan Constantino, thank you for being here. And let me just say, for the Lakeshore group, I have to say this because I'm with New York State, where boccia, used to be called bocce when I was a kid, but now it's boccia. I think the Italians have taken over, I don't know, but it's boccia. Lakeshore happens to be the home of Team USA Wheelchair Rugby. Talk about a nice friendly game of little smashing into each other and full speed in chairs. Boom! Now we're the home to Team USA Boccia, Wheelchair Boccia, and you wait till you see what that's going to be about. So, all right, all the UCPs who are represented here, get your teams ready. We are ready to have boccia. Let's go, all right? This used to be the big deal. Now it's coming back. Okay, so my dad influenced me. My mom died when I was very young. I was 15 months old. My little sister was 3 months old, and my older sister was 4. She died of ovarian cancer at the age of 36. My dad was 32. And he picked himself up and said, John's got to live a regular life. I went to regular schools. He taught me how to deal with the teasing and the harassing. Just an amazing human being. He was always 5 jumps ahead. And you know, you've seen people tonight, and you are people like my dad, who think about what is life going to be like for my child with a severe disability in the future. And he could see the future. And he made my life so meaningful. God bless my dad. Thank you. He too developed Parkinson's and passed away 10 years ago from the complications of Parkinson's. So good for Willie and everything that he's doing to address that issue. Senators Bob and Elizabeth Dole. Now you think I'm a name dropper. Sophia Loren told me, don't be a name dropper, John. That's what she said to me. You think I'm dropping names? Okay, Bob and Libby happen to be good friends of ours. I spoke at Bob Dole's funeral. I knew him for 50 years. This guy is the most humble human being, most decent human being that this country has ever had as a leader and almost president. Amazing man. And then Libby is equally as humanitarian as Bob. She served 5 presidents and has a foundation that serves caregivers. And we heard a round of applause for caregivers. They are the heroes in our world. And then I told you about my wife, Sam. And And she's saying right now, don't say any more, John, don't say any more. I am just the luckiest human being in the world to have found my wife, Sam, the greatest person I've ever met in my life. I have felt the stings of discrimination. I've felt the hurt of exclusion. I've felt the frustration of others' low expectations. Not often, but I felt it and I knew it when it was happening to me. It is wrong. It will always be wrong. We cannot do this to each other and say we're human. My dad explained to me who has a handicap and who has a disability when I was 8 years old. And I still, to this day, remember that distinction of I have a disability and other people who don't accept me just because I happen to wear prostheses has a handicap. They have the handicaps in this world. Gotta go. When I was 9 years old, I'm sure some of you maybe remember me because I was a little shorter and I had a black mustache, and I was saying, please give money to Easter seals. No. I got to go from Bismarck, North Dakota, which, by the way, only has 2 seasons, winter and the 4th of July. And we came here as the national poster child, and I got to go to Yankee Stadium, and I know the Mets crowd is heavy here tonight. I know it. But I'm just going to say I went to Yankee Stadium then, and I got in the clubhouse about an hour before the game, and there was Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and Casey Stengel and Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra was sitting on a couch with his shirt, his uniform unbuttoned, pants open. It was not a pretty picture, all right? That was not a pretty picture. That's kind of startling to a 9-year-old boy, all right? Just like, you're an all-star and you look like that? Wow, drinking a milkshake. He was phenomenal. But I didn't need to see that. So I decided I was gonna practice and practice. Like my dad said, you can do anything, you just have to practice, the practice. So I would play baseball and baseball and baseball over and over and over again. Never got any better. Kids got bigger, faster. I never was going to be a Yankee. Then you see people like Ali Stroker, first person using a wheelchair to win a Tony Award because her talent is so great. Unbelievable. Take away the barriers, let people rise. My hope for people with disabilities is that we find satisfaction, happiness, and even joy in whatever we choose to do. That's my hope for everyone in this room, that we all find friendships and love with the very best people. I found my Sam. And that we as disabled people can become CEOs, parents, Paralympic athletes, and even Broadway stars. And we can choose to become greeters and custodians and shelf stockers, and we need to be respected for our choices, whatever they are. So let's live life with courage and fearlessly celebrate our differences. Together we will never stop building communities where diversity is expected, self-expression is honored, all are welcomed, and we are included. I will cherish this night forever, and I am so honored to receive the Hausman Humanitarian Award, and especially from Ed, my friend Eddie. Thank you very much, everybody. Congratulations.